Well, folks, we had a little interruption there in transmission. You know, there were some bugs in the system. But what do you get for filming out in the hills where there's bush and bush and bush? As Shanta would say, she don't like bugs. But, you know, when you come to the bushes, hey, what a big, beautiful, I can't say bug. Hello, Louise. Louise.
Surprise!
Surprise. It's Louise again. Well, in our last video, which had to be unfortunately stopped because of some technical difficulties, Louise was talking there about the process of grief must be dealt with. So, Lou, you want to just continue slightly and then we'll go on to something else?
Yes. So clearly, we as kids were not allowed to grieve, because even my younger sister had that same problem of crying a lot at funerals. Anyway, after the psychologist when he asked me how I felt when my mother died, I wept and wept and wept. And he said I did well. And then all he said was, if you were to see your mother, what would be your words to her? And I said, Mama, I love you.
Mama, I love you.
And that was an instant cure for my weeping at funerals. My sister died subsequently, and it was amazing how well I was able to stand up. So it is true. And I often think, well, why didn't you see about this grief, this crying problem before? But lack of knowledge. It was only when that psychologist came and she said that I was able to see, but I have this problem. Mm-hmm. So psychologist is not a bad thing if you have to end up to one, you know. Mm-hmm. Because I can be strong at funerals now. I can be a support to people who loved ones have passed. Before, I was no comfort to anyone. I cried more than them. So it is good. If there is a problem, it's far better to get professional help than to lose your marriage. Mm-hmm. You know? So back to the psychologist, the psychiatrist doctor in the show.
Well, I think in that show, from moment to moment, mm-hmm. right? We thought it was a great movie to see when we were courting, that we will go and learn some nice little, romantic things. But it turned out to be quite a traumatic movie, in the sense that this wife, she was a housewife. I think that's how the story goes, right?
Yeah.
Her husband was a psychiatrist, a very busy man. And I don't remember how she met this young officer from a ship, a warship it looked like. He had come into the harbor. And I don't remember how they met. But a relationship grew between them.
Started off very innocently.
Innocently.
Just friends, going places.
Having a meal and going up into the... I think it was based in Italy.
Yes.
And they went up there, Louise, remember? And then they looked at the pigeons on a sunset flying into the sky. Yeah. Little romantic things that happened.
And they started to fall in love with each other.
Yes, they fell in love. I don't know whether it was infatuation, it was a passion that was fast moving. But when it seemed to be getting out of hand, something happened. The young man got shot, grazed in the head. And Louise, she and a neighbor
got him out of the house,
bundled him into a car, went to a hillside and dumped him over. Now you see the thing about it is...
romantic interlude became a tragedy.
You see, that's the problem, Louise.
That's real problem.
When something gets out of hand, how do you stop it?
That's right.
How are you going to stop something that you really don't really want in your life?
Yeah. And then of all things,
he got amnesia.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't remember anything. He don't know anything. He didn't know who he was, what he was doing there, or anything. And of all people that he was brought to for help was her psychiatrist husband.
Wow.
And that was really quite a
Story jump out.
story jump out. Anyway, the end of it, it ended good, is that the psychiatrist himself, when he found out the man was having an affair, and he put the pieces together, and it was his wife. I can't remember what evidence he had, because that
Well,
was
I think,
many years
no,
ago.
no, no. I believe that they were all present together because he was bringing the boy at home.
Okay.
He was bringing the boy at home, while trying to sort out the problem. He had the boy come home,
And when he saw,
and then eventually, when the story, when full realization came,
was when
the
he
wife
in
was
the house.
present,
Mm,
and then the psychiatrist, of course, being a wise man, he noticed the reaction of the boy to the wife, and it all came back. I think the psychiatrist had taken him to certain places that she and the officer had gone to. So there it is now that the pieces are
But all this time he didn't know it was his wife
until that moment when it was broken, right? And the nice part about it is what?
the psychiatrist accepted that he neglected his wife.
Yes, he was too busy.
Yes.
He was too busy.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that it ended with him and his wife going to the various places that she went with the guy.
That is the thing. That is the thing,
And she was happy,
Yeah.
and she was very happy to be reunited with her husband.
Tell me about this. This very good. Thank you. Your memory is still intact, and I'm happy about that. Tell me, you met somebody at the beach recently.
Yes, Steve.
What?
And
Mommy, what's it, darling?
Steve and Nisha.
Steve and
from
Nisha.
Soon,
From
Pinal.
Okay.
We're on the beach in Tyrico.
Very good.
So when Steve saw Lyndon, he came and he spoke to Lyndon and told Lyndon that, he is one of his, he looks at his shows and also look at the appearance. And he was quite interested for me to go and meet Nisha. So I went with Nisha to meet Nisha. And we had a little chit chat, and I said to her, it's lovely to see you all taking time off on a Saturday to leave all the way Pinal to come to Tyrico. It's a beautiful drive, and it's wonderful to think that, here you all are having a good time together. So I went on to tell Nisha, when your husband wants to go anywhere, you'll be in the car before he even get in. I say, because a lot of wives like to know they do all their housework and everything else before they go out. I think that's an error. Sometimes you have to be spontaneous and just get out. Because if you think about all that you have to do in the house before you go out, you never leave home, because there's always stuff to do in the house. And she openly, in his presence, so I guess I can repeat it, because he was in the presence when she said it. She said, no, it's the other way around. My husband, when he come home, he don't want to go nowhere. She said, but I'm a housewife, and I want to go out. So I have to make sure he take me out. Well, I said, well, that was really very good. And Steve said, when a man working, he's be tired. And you don't really want to go anywhere, You rather just stay home in the quietness of your home and just chill out. And that is why there's two sides to a story. Why Nisha is at home as a housewife, looking and anxious to get out of the house, because all her work is under control. I would like to go out. Meanwhile, Steve, tired, he had a rough week, Monday to Friday. He just want to stay home quietly and must look at YouTube, maybe look at Lance and I too. But Nisha would rather be out. Now, I believe in faith. I really believe in faith. And so Lance as well, believe and fair play. And that is why this motto of 50-50 is a wonderful compromise. Not only 50-50 in what we eat or what we drink or the money. No, it's more than that. It is more than those tangible things. 50%, you get 2 grapes, I get in 2. Those are tangible things. But there are things that we have to meet each other halfway, which you call compromise. I think in previous videos, I spoke about compromise. That marriage, one of the seasoned marriages, to compromise. Now, Lancey, while I was talking to Lancey, he said to me, yes, but they both have a story. Nisha is at home as a housewife, has done all her work, and would like to go out and spend quality time with her husband. Meanwhile, her husband, he's been out there hustling Monday to Friday, traffic jam, pressures on the job, and all that goes when you're working. He just wants to stay home and chill and look at his little videos and movies and whatever, and get away from traffic jam and just relax at home. Well, so what he said, so what would you recommend in a case like that? Manas has a story and Nisha has a story. Yes, I agree. They both have a story. And I really hope, Nisha and Steve, you all will not be upset us talking about this, because this was an open conversation we had on the beach. And I don't see it as, well, I'm disclosing anything private, but I'm just sharing for the interest of other couples who might be in a similar situation. And I feel that you both have your stories. Nothing wrong with that. It's 2 situations that is a given in every husband and wife who one person is at home and the other one is out working. So it's not a secret. Many couples out there will have that problem. So my take on it is, if there are 4 weekends, Nisha should have 2 weekends, or any wife for that matter, who's a housewife, 2 weekends to decide what she would like to do. So whether it's in and out, 1 weekend for you, 1 weekend for me, 1 weekend for you, 1 weekend for me. So if Nisha want to go to the beach this Saturday, next Saturday, Steve should be at home, relaxing, doing it, spending the day how he wants to spend. And if the next Saturday, Nisha wants to go to the mall, Steve goes with her. But next Saturday, Steve is free to stay at home, do whatever he wants to do. And that is what I will say. That's a 50-50. Nobody win, nobody lose. And these things add to better relationship, because by compromising, there is consideration. And then we'll be able to communicate better, because we're not vexed with each other. So it's a ripple effect when there's consideration for our partner and our children. When there's consideration, it's not about 100% for me, all is mine. No, that will never work. Somebody's going to burst at the scene. So 50-50, fair play all the way. Lance and Louise, 50-50 in everything.
Thank you. But I want to say, Louise, or should I say not but, and I want to say that Steve really does have his story. Nisha has her story, right? Which brings me back to my brother-in-law, Lucas, and my sister, Claudia.
Right.
Lucas worked very hard as a trucker. He had a Cannons, he had a spell with Cannons ice cream company. And I remember him working very hard.
Yeah.
When he got into trucking business with Lever Brothers, he would come home after pulling that truck through all that traffic. And he would be just contented to remain at home.
Yeah.
But there were times when he would pick up the family and they will go to Toko.
Yeah.
Or they will go to Mayaro. And I believe that, Lucas really, he was a great guy. He took good care of me when I was younger, He took me to the movies. I was a little boy. He brought me when they lived on Nelson Street. He brought me to spend little weekends with them. And when I would meet him in Port of Spain anywhere as a youngster, he would open the back of that Cannon's van and hand me some ice cream. You know those little 12-cent cup?
Yes.
In those days? Yes. So Lucas was a man who knew when to be tired and he knew when to give.
Yeah.
And I
that's
think,
what it's all about.
yeah, giving in, not because you're pressured, but because he determines that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and there will be times when the wife has to give in too.
Of course.
Because the relationship goes both ways.
Yes, definitely.
Fair play.
Yeah.
You can't want everything for yourself. Whether the man wants 100% and the poor wife is just there suffering. Vice versa. 50-50.
Yes, that is how it goes.
50-50 will give you another 50 years of marriage if you live.
Okay, my dad worked in a store, right? He worked in Miller stores, and he worked hard during the week. He had about 5 professions, beekeeper, accountant, tailor, whatever. And I would remember him feeling the need. Well, mother was a housewife, so let's do something over the weekend. So he tells us, you get up early on a Monday, on a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning, and we're going off to the beach. But he must leave early, eh? The fella must leave early. What are you laughing at? Eh?
Sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar. The fella will leave.
Old block.
The man will leave home. He wants to leave by 7 o'clock. Going to Toko in those days, you took about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah,
the road was
2 hours,
bad.
2
It was
hours.
really bad.
Yeah, it was like 4 hours.
We had no big highways in those days, right? When we get to the beach, it's nearly about 11 o'clock.
Yes.
As he gets there, he makes a little stretch. He does a little hop, when you get to the seaside, you feel kind of energetic, energized to do something, This is it, freedom.
Goes, you take a little swim.
Touch his toes and he stretched here and there, which he hasn't stretched for the entire week. And then he goes into the sea. Mother is there now, kind of getting ready. The girls are also there, and they're looking for the sun, And the boss takes 2 dips into the ocean.
12:30.
Yeah. By 12 o'clock.
By 12 o'clock, yes.
Yeah, by 12 o'clock.
11 he goes.
Mother has hardly wet her toes. And he says, okay, what did you all cook? Let's go. Right? But remember, he has taken her out, He has taken her out. He's still controlling the scene. He's taken her out. And he comes out of the water there. He takes his towel, he dries himself. And they sit down and they eat. What do they eat? In pilau, maybe. You know what I mean?
She like to make curry and chicken and rice.
Curry and rice, chicken, or whatever, cabbage, whatever. I don't know. I can't remember. And when he eats, he says, okay, time for another dip. This time we're creeping up to about 1:30, yeah? And he has a little swim there. And then he comes out of the water and he said, okay, time to go. Now the girls are fuming, Remember, he has compromised, but he still has his thoughts maybe on his bees. Maybe he wants to come home and go to the bees.
Drive back.
And everybody is grumbling, The girls have not.
Daughter-in-law.
Yeah. Now the girls have not been tanned enough, right?
Louise didn't have a long enough swim.
Louise didn't have enough swim. She didn't get a chance to be romantic with Lancy in the water. Just when she's warming up, we gotta get out, right? So we come out of the water. Well, anyway, we get in the car. Everybody is sour as ever. And we head down the road.
In the hot sun.
And the 3 o'clock sun is piercing through that windshield because we're heading west, okay? It's piercing through the windscreen.
Well, at least the girls got their tan.
They got the tan.
While driving.
But mother is the one being tan now, eh? She's up front with the old man. But somewhere along the line, you know, as you get to San Grande, his little conscience is telling him, oh my, I robbed them. So here what we're going to do. We are going to pull in here and we're going to buy some corn, right? So he pulls in and the lady looks in the car and she must have said to herself, wow, this is 5 of them. This is sale, right? So,
how much?
So he says, bring corn. Bring corn, man, bring corn. So the lady starts wrapping corn. And then he said, wait a minute, how much for the corn?
$5.
$5? $5 for what? All of the corn?
Yeah, $5, because then $1 was plenty money for our corn, eh?
Okay, $5 for...
Because I got 10 corns for $1.
Yeah, he said, $5? The man throws in his first gear and he's off.
Off he goes! When the lady wanted all she 5 corns.
But with all of that, the old man was a kind man. He was kind. He was very generous to his family. I mean, he had to cut and contrive because he was the one going to the market during the week, buying the bread with the kerosene on the way home, pulling the water at the junction. When a man under that kind of stress reach home, you think he wants to go anywhere really, Louis?
Exactly.
But then mother being home all day long, doesn't she want to go out somewhere?
Of course.
So sometimes he had
to read.
All right. So sometimes he had to compromise too, and we'll go and visit our brother Errol. You know, he lived in the Tulapuna region, and I tell you, you know, it was really a compromise. It was really quite a compromise that we do have to make, you know, when you want to keep your marriage intact. The whole thing is about being a spirit of compromise.
They were married for 58 years when she died.
Yes, they were married for 57 years.
57.
And she died on the day after her 57th anniversary. So we there is no family, no couple without hiccups. But what you do is you learn to work around them.
Yeah.
Right, Louis?
Yes, you learn to work with what you have.
Work with what you have. Preserve what you have.
No one is perfect.
Yeah.
No one is perfect. But we have to accept you cannot change anyone. I always say that. You cannot change anyone. But what you do is you work with what you have. You don't keep criticizing the person. What you have to do is you accept, well, this is limited in this area. So, but you don't highlight it every time.
Mm-hmm.
You work with what you have.
Because
remember, you yourself fall short and he's working with what he has.
That's correct.
So it's give and take.
Give and take.
Give and take, 50-50.
Yes. I'll give you one minute again to come up with something very valuable. Oh, what's
A bug.
A bug. Shanta and Tony from
bring
Queens.
You all down here.
I am sorry, Shanta. There are some bugs around here. I know you did say you don't like bugs. But I tell you what, we have a big, huge net. I will wrap you in it. So Tony and Shanta, you're welcome to come to this gorgeous scenery here. Yes, it's gorgeous, Shanta. And down there, we do have
the river.
The river heads through, this track runs through those trees, cocoa trees all around. You can see the cocoa trees, and you can get to the river. And Louise will be happy to show you the breaststroke, the freestyle, all on the rock.